Welcome to 6th grade health, and this is for lesson 168. So one more day of review and then you take your final test for health, okay? So today we're going to be reviewing chapters 1 to 4. Tomorrow we'll review chapters 5 to 7. And so for homework for this, you've got your health worksheet 11 to do today. And then homework due CCU 7, A, numbers 21 through 24, B, all, and C, numbers 2 and 3 on paper. Okay, so that's written out on the pages that I've given to you. But first of all, we are going to go ahead and review a couple things. So on your bicycle hand signals, okay? So if I put, get back to that page. All right, if I put my left arm straight out, what am I telling somebody following me? Okay, so this whole reverse thing on the computer is really confusing me. So I'm just gonna say, this is my left hand going out. It's a left turn, right? Okay, so if I then put my arm down like this, what am I telling them? I'm stopping or slowing down, right? And then if I put my arm up like this, it's a right turn. Or you could also put your right arm out and do the right turn. But someone who is has been riding bicycles for a long time, they didn't used to say this one. It used to just be left turn, stop, slow, and right turn. It was all done with this hand because it was easier to get your left hand off of, to coordinate one hand coming off than trying to remember, okay, I got to put this one out. But somehow in all of that, somebody changed it, and so they do have the other one as an option. But all right, so what does it mean to be safety conscious? What does it mean to be safety conscious? Being aware of and following rules that help prevent accidents, okay? What is heat exhaustion? Heat exhaustion can result from overexposure to excessive heat over time caused by loss of water and sodium from the body, okay? What is heat stroke? That's the life-threatening emergency that is caused by prolonged exposure to high temperatures. The body is unable to perspire at that point. So you do need to seek medical attention for a heat stroke. What is the buddy system? The practice of being accompanied by someone else, right? 2 or more, go in pairs, right? Buddy system. What is hypothermia? What is hypothermia? The body temperature drops below normal, okay? And what's frostbite? It's the freezing of your body tissue. What is a pit? A pit. It's the deep cavity on each side of the snake's snout between its eye and nostril. And what is a hurricane? Hurricane is a storm with violent wind and heavy rain. All right. Okay, so I'm going to give you a description of some different dangerous things. Okay, vines usually climbing a tree or grow as low crawling shrubs. Leaves grow in sets of 3 leaflets. Poison ivy, good job. More of a bushy form of poison ivy is what? Poison oak. Survives on blood from other animals and humans, transmits serious infectious disease. A tick, yes. Okay, which is a poisonous snake distinguished by a pit on each side of its snout between its eye and nostril? The pit viper, good job. And then this, red on yellow, kill a fellow, red on black, venom lack, round eyes, no pit. So what's the red on yellow, kill a fellow? Coral snake, all right? And then what's the one that would be red on black that isn't poisonous? Is the scarlet king snake. All right. All right, when your clothing catches on fire, what do you need to do? Stop, drop, and roll, right? Stop, drop, and roll. Yeah, okay. What do you use to avoid most kinds of drowning incidents to stay afloat for hours or even days in warm water? What do you use? The survival float, good job. And then to survive in cold water, what do you use? It's the help position, so it's the heat escape lessening posture, okay? Help. Never leave a fire unattended. Keep handles of pots turned away from front of stove. In a grease fire, cover pan with a lid or smother fire with salt or baking soda. Remember to turn off appliances. What are you doing when you do all of those? Fire prevention, very good. You may have only 1 minute to escape the house from a house fire. If a door feels hot, do not open it. Have a planned meeting place. What is that known as? That's your fire safety, okay? So fire prevention is before a fire happens, and that's things that you do to prevent a fire from happening. But fire safety are things in place in case a fire does happen for whatever reason. All right. If your clothing catches on fire, do not run, stop moving, drop to the floor, and roll back and forth is known as stop, drop, and roll. And we did go over that one too, but that's just a different, more explained there. Keep your bike in good working order. Always wear a helmet. Ride on roads that have little traffic and on extreme right side of road. Follow all traffic signs. Use proper hand signals. Watch for cars backing out of driveways. Be sure drivers can see you at dusk and after dark. What is that? There's a lot there. That's bike safety, right? Okay, good job. What is sports safety? Okay, what is sports safety? There's lots of things for that one too. So drink plenty of water, wear light clothing in hot weather, never swim alone in unfamiliar water, go feet first, exercise caution when swimming in ocean, swim parallel to the shore rather than away from it, do not sled down or across a street, never play or skate on ice without permission for that day, never hike alone, wear brightly colored clothing when near woods during hunting season, and do not start a campfire by yourself. All right. Okay, what about the safety tips for lightning? Drop to your knees, bend forward, avoid being the tallest object around, okay? How do you avoid electrocution? How do you avoid electrocution? Occasionally check cords of lamps, toasters, and other electrical appliances to see that they're in good condition. Never place extension cords under rugs. Do not stand in water when you plug in an appliance, okay? What do you do if someone has received an electric shock? You grab them? No, don't touch them. Pull the switch, pull the plug from the wall, or turn off the master switch and wait till, yeah, okay? What do you do when your clothes catch on fire? Stop, drop, and roll. You guys are going to know that one really well. What about if strangers at the door? Don't unlock the door. If the stranger waits, call the police. During a thunderstorm, what do you do? Stay away from water. If possible, avoid anything electrical. Stay away from wires and cables that have been blown down. So that would most likely be outside. During a hurricane, listen for weather reports and evacuate when you're told to. During a tornado, get underground in a basement, cellar, cave, or other underground area. If no shelter is available, lie in a ditch or other low-lying area. What about during an earthquake? If you're inside, stay away from windows, glass, or loose objects. Preferably get under a desk or get in a doorway. What about if you're outside? Stay away from electrical lines. Move quickly to an open area away from buildings because the building could fall, okay? All right. Moving on. Okay. Make sure to study the pressure points on page 42. And what is the emergency care given to a person who is injured or suddenly becomes ill? First aid. Good job. Any kind of sickness or injury requiring immediate care. The medical emergency. Who receives the same training as an EMT along with extra courses in which he learns to perform advanced life-saving procedures? It's a paramedic, right? A paramedic is, they help the medic, the doctor, okay? They can do more and they can help them better. What is a support to an injured body to prevent movement and further damage? Is a splint. Good. Any break in the skin or mucous membrane, dangers or bleeding and infection? Is a wound, okay? The outer layer of skin, epidermis, all right? What is the yellowish white substance on a wound indication of infection? It's a pus, that's pus. All right. Bleeding from the nose that may be caused by a nose injury, strenuous activity, high blood pressure, exposure to high altitudes, as well as by blowing your nose too hard. Is a nosebleed, okay? A reaction to extreme heat by sweating profusely, becoming very tired and weak, and possibly even collapsing. Heat exhaustion, all right? And then a life-threatening condition that occurs when sweat glands do not function properly is a heat stroke. Okay? The freezing of body tissue is known as frostbite. What about the decay of body tissue? Gangrene, gangrene. Occurs when the body temperature drops below normal. Hypothermia, the point at which pressure should be applied to slow or stop bleeding, is your pressure point, right? Artificial respiration involves helping a victim to breathe until he's able to breathe on his own. Is rescue breathing. The procedure used to expel an object from a choking victim is the Heimlich maneuver, or the abdominal thrust is what some call it. Any substance which causes harm, illness, or even death when eaten, drunk, or otherwise absorbed into the body is poison, all right? What's the serum used for treating snake bites? Antivenom, antivenom. Substance that poisons the nerves is what? Neurotoxic. And so some of the snakes that bite poison your nerves, so it's neurotoxic. The second layer of skin is the dermis, and then the third layer of skin is the subcutaneous. All right. What is a sunburn? Redness of skin, pain, possible swelling and blisters due to overexposure to the sun. What is a thermal burn? Burns obtained by flames, hot gas, or a hot object. An electrical burn? It's when an electrical charge passes through body tissue and bones. Chemical burn? It's when you come in contact with a corrosive chemical to your skin or eyes. A first-degree burn. It's characterized by redness, mild pain, swelling, heals quickly, affects only the epidermis. A second-degree burn does what? Has blisters, red skin, swelling, extreme pain, and affects the epidermis and the dermis. And a third-degree burn, it's actually less painful due to the nerve cells being damaged. All three layers are affected, has whitish or charred appearance, and needs medical attention. Okay, it's another thing. All right, what is the artery I'm going to skip that section. Okay, so what is the meaning for the abbreviation EMT? What does that mean? Emergency medical technician. What about RICE? The RICE method. What does that mean? Rest, ice, compression, elevation. Good job. And then the ABCs of first aid are airway, breathing, and circulation. Very good. What is caused by a lack of exercise followed by an overexertion? Muscle soreness results when a muscle is pulled to the point of tearing. Muscle strain results of a stretched or torn ligament around a joint. A sprain. And what's a break, chip, or crack in the bone? Fracture. A crack or break that does not pierce through the skin is known as a simple fracture, and then a break that pierces through the skin is compound fracture. A bone forced from its normal position is called dislocation. What is a cut? An incision. Good. The scraping of the epidermis is abrasion. Sudden painful spasm of several muscles in the same area is a muscle cramp. A jostling of the brain inside its protective body covering is called a concussion. What about multiple bruises to the brain? Contusions. Good job. All right. We're going to move on to the next one. All right. So this is on the glands. A tiny structure about the size of a pea located at the base of the brain secretes hormones that control other endocrine glands is known as what? The pituitary gland, right? That one is at the base of the brain. What about located in the front of your neck secretes a hormone called thyroxine? It's your thyroid gland, right? The endocrine gland that sits like little caps on top of each kidney consists of an inner and outer portion. Each portion secretes its own hormone to meet specific needs in your body. It secretes a hormone called adrenaline. Your adrenal glands, good job. A small cone-shaped endocrine gland located between the two hemispheres of your brain. The pineal gland, and then the group of cells found in the pancreas secretes insulin and glucagon. The islets of Langerhans, good job. All right, so some other terms: where a baby lives until birth. In the womb, functions as a kidney, lungs, and intestines for the unborn baby. This is the placenta. Okay, so this is what it starts with. They start with the placenta functioning as the kidney, lungs, and intestines. And then what is the lifeline of oxygen and nutrients for the unborn child? It develops a little bit later. The umbilical cord, good. Movements that are learned are what? Motor skills. What is made up of three basic parts? The cell membrane, the cytoplasm, and the nucleus. A cell, good job. Tightly coiled strands of chromatin, which contain DNA, are chromosomes, okay? Chromosomes. What are groups of similar cells called? Groups of similar cells are tissues. Groups of similar tissues that are grouped together are known as organs, okay? Groups of organs performing similar tasks are called systems. Good job. All right, and then the chemical messengers in your body are hormones. System that produces and distributes hormones. The endocrine system, right? So that's all those glands that we were talking about to begin with. Causes your body to grow. Is your growth hormone. Good. Hormone that controls the rate of certain chemical reactions in your body, including your metabolism. That's thyroxine. That's why your thyroid is so important. The process which converts food to energy to help you work and play is metabolism. What are the reproductive glands concerned with the conception, development, and birth of babies? The gonads. Gonads. An organ that secretes digestive juices and hormones is your pancreas. Which hormone helps to maintain the proper levels of glucose in the blood? Insulin. And which hormone helps maintain the proper levels? Oh, which other hormone helps maintain the proper levels of glucose in the blood? Glucagon. So both insulin and glucagon do that. All right. What hormone causes your body to release extra energy during an emergency? Adrenaline. And which disease is caused by deficiency in insulin? Diabetes mellitus. Diabetes mellitus. All right. Parts of the cell. What surrounds and protects the other portions of the cell? Is the cell membrane. Thick fluid inside the cell membrane is the cytoplasm. Okay, the plasm, if you've ever heard of plasma, you think of cytoplasm, that's the thick fluid in there. Tiny organs contained in the cytoplasm which perform many chemical reactions and functions that together form the basis of life. They're tiny organs, so they're organelles, okay? Organelles. The center, the control center for all the functions which take place in the cells is the nucleus, and then a material in the nucleus which forms chromosomes is chromatin, okay? Very good, all right. All right, so what does your skeletal system do? Provide support and rigidity to your body. What about your muscular system? It's responsible for all your movement. Circulatory system transports nutrients, water, and oxygen to every living cell in your body. Respiratory system provides your body with oxygen needed to produce energy and eliminates carbon dioxide waste as it builds up. And the nervous system, it controls all the other systems. It sends and receives messages to and from the system, each system simultaneously, all right? Substances your body needs in order to function properly are known as nutrients. Good job. Condition in which bones become brittle and break down. Osteoporosis. A drug that can be harmful to your body, especially during your growing years. It's caffeine. What's a fatty substance in your blood? Cholesterol. A fatty deposit restricts the flow of blood through your vessels. Is plaque, okay? So that's kind of like, think of like the plaque on your teeth. So this would be like inside your veins may have a buildup, and that's that fatty deposit that's like a little, ball, a little buildup, and so the blood has to flow around it, so then it doesn't flow as fast. Exercises that increase the ability of the circulatory system to transport and process oxygen. Aerobics, good. Tiny air sacs in your lungs. The alveoli, a dome-shaped muscle below your lungs, is your diaphragm. And then muscles that become weak because they are not used is atrophic. Point where one end of the muscle is anchored to a relatively immovable part is the origin, okay? And then the end of the muscle that is pulled toward the origin is the insertion, okay? So know the difference between that. The muscle that flexes your arm, your biceps brachii. Your shoulder blade is your scapula. Forearm bone, the one that we've talked about, is the radius. Good. The ability to maintain a slight contraction which keeps the fleshy part of the muscle firm is muscle tone. What is the fatty system of vessels that fill the long bones produces red blood cells? Your marrow, your bone marrow. A tough solid tissue that makes up joints is cartilage. Your nose and your ears are also made out of cartilage. A degenerative disease that breaks down the structure of the joint causes inflammation and swelling as well as potential loss of movement is arthritis. Okay, so different types of joints. Joints such as the ones between the bones of your skull, which do not allow movement, are what? Immovable joints, right? And then joints between bones, such as your vertebrae, that move only a little, are slightly movable joints. And then joints which allow bones, such as your arms and legs, to move as needed, freely movable joints. Good job. How are voluntary and involuntary movements different from each other? Voluntary movements are conscious movements and involuntary movements are subconscious. They're both controlled by your muscular system though. What are the 5 types of nutrients that your body needs? Protein, carbohydrates, fats, minerals, and vitamins, okay? The major functioning groups of muscles are what? Your arms, your upper and lower back, your chest and abdomen, and your legs. Okay, good job. What does a good exercise program include? Warm-ups, stretches, an aerobic activity. They should also be done 3 times a week, should involve all major muscle groups. You should allow the body to cool down slowly. Okay, so those are things that are necessary for a good exercise program. Make sure that you study these. I didn't ask every single question, but I did ask a lot of them, but make sure to go over and review that tonight. Do your health worksheet 11 and do these questions in your CCU 7, and we will see you in the next lesson.